Welcome to another edition of Bases and Balls with broadcaster of our Cleveland Guardians, Jim Rosenhaus, on 93.5, 1590 WAKR, brought to you by NECA IBEW. Rosey, I want to talk first of all today about young hitter Owen Miller. This is a guy last year we saw up and down a little bit, but man, is he off to a nice start. We're now almost 5 weeks into the season. Doesn't seem to be slowing down. You've had a chance to see this guy maybe more this year than maybe all of last year with him playing almost every day. Talk about his approach at the plate for us.
It's been excellent. And I think for him, the biggest key, Ray, was he came in just before the lockout. And I'm not sure if I imagine they knew something was coming. But right after Thanksgiving, he came in along with Oscar Mercado to work with the new hitting coach, Chris Faleka. And he just felt he got some really good stuff done then with his lower half and how he wanted to set up and be prepared to hit anything, whether it was a fastball or an off-speed pitch. And I think we're seeing that. And also just to attack more. And if there is a pitch that works for him to really let it go and attack it and pull the ball a little bit more. And I think we're seeing that from him. It doesn't always carry through to the next spring, but he was able to take that home with him to Wisconsin, where he works out in the wintertime, and really put in the repetitions of what he felt that he was able to learn with the hitting coaches here before the lockout. And he came into spring training ready to go, and it's still going well for him.
A lot of positive things to draw from him. And really, when you look at the rest of the infield right now, him at first, and then Jimenez is off to a terrific start at second, Rosario at short, and then, boy, we can't say enough about what J-Ram is doing at third base.
Yeah, it's coming together nicely. And it's funny how, you go into spring training thinking one thing, and, we had no idea who would be playing at second, but you come out of spring training and it's Bobby Bradley at first and Yu Chang at second. And Chang's been out for a while, and Bradley's just really struggled. So the other two have filled in really well. And you're right, Jimenez, another young hitter who has made some very nice strides, using the whole field a little bit more. And of course, Rosey and that type of thing. And I think we know what we're getting with Ahmed Rosario. So there is some good stuff on the infield. Yeah.
Rosey, let me ask you this. And I know we're only 5 weeks into the season, but home runs are down across the board in Major League Baseball. And we've talked about our hitters. We talked about it last week, how we're starting to use foul pole to foul pole with a lot of our hitters now. Are you seeing a trend starting to see across Major League Baseball? And again, I know it's early, but with the trending with players putting the bat on the ball, Stephen Kwan is a perfect example, where we're starting to go back to maybe where we were 10, 15 years ago with making contact more?
Well, I think the players who should do that are doing that, where maybe the last couple of years, some players who aren't noted for their power maybe change their approach to try and hit more home runs. I do think the baseball is different this year. There's been some shots that just die on the warning track, and you think, boy, that seems different from maybe a year ago. But yeah, it's interesting. I think there is a little bit more of going the other way, especially with this ball club. That's their strength. There's not a whole lot of home run hitting power on this team. So I think the guys who need to get on base need to do that. And they are doing. And they are doing that for the most part. I know they're in a stretch here on this road swing, but when they've been good, when they've scored a ton of runs, it's been because they're getting on base and using the whole field.
Guardians broadcaster Jim Rosenhaus with us with Bases and Balls, brought to you by NECA IBEW. Kind of went to the baseballs. Some players have been pretty outspoken, especially pitchers, about the baseballs so far this baseball season. With you in the circle, talking with other broadcasters and maybe players, what are you seeing, hearing about the baseball of 2022?
Oh, there are some inconsistencies there, but it's funny, Ray, out here where the weather's been beautiful, you don't hear a thing. So I really do think it's the cold weather. When you're in the cold weather, I think it is hard right now for pitchers. The inconsistencies with the baseball, the lack of ability to really use whatever you need to get some better grip, or at least something to get some better grip. That's made it difficult in the cold weather. I think even Max Scherzer had a really good game one night, but it was in cold weather, and he said it was like trying to throw a cue ball instead of a baseball. And that's kind of scary, because you are seeing some hit batsmen and things like that a little bit more. And the pitchers don't want to do that. A lot of them just say, "It's look, the ball got away. I have no control over it." So that's kind of a tricky thing to work through. And I know they're still talking about maybe a tackier baseball, doing some things, with the rosin bag to try and make it easier to grip. But we'll see. I think right now it is a struggle, especially in the cold weather, not as much in the warm weather games.
Rosey, before I let you go, how about a preview? We've got the Oakland A's this weekend going to that big ballpark there in Oakland, but it's a team that really traded away a lot of talent in the offseason, but here they are again, over 500. Seems each and every year they're able to put a pretty quality baseball team on the field.
Yeah, it's amazing what Billy Beane has done out there as the president and general manager, putting together teams. The fans don't like it and they're not coming out, but Mark Kotze, their new manager, has said, he's like, "Well, we're going to win games with the players we have. We don't care how many people show up. However many show up, we're going to play well for them, and go from there." And I guess that's the only way you can look at it. And so, I call it a rebuild, a tear down, whatever you want to call it. They're still playing winning baseball. So we'll see how long that lasts. But at least out of the gate, they're trying not to let all those trades that they've made. Some really key players walked away. They're not letting that bother them to this point.
Guardians broadcaster Jim Rosenhaus joins us each week. It's Bases and Balls, brought to you by Nika IBEW. Rosey, my friend, thanks for making time. We'll look forward to the calls all weekend long. Thanks again.
You got it, Ray. Thank you.